Andy Audate podcast. I'm Lori Audate, the co host for Andy Audate, and together we talk about business, sales, and SaaS. How are you doing, Andy, this week?
I'm phenomenal. Super excited to be back in recording different episodes.
Yes, and I know you have some travel coming up. So you want to share a little bit more about that? Like what's going to happen on your next trip? I know sometimes you do workshops, sometimes personal travel, but this one's business travel, right?
Yeah, so this one is I'm going to the Philippines for two reasons. One reason that I'm going to the Philippines is to recruit talent. So we're having a team hiring dinner, and I did this last year, and it worked out well. We hired some great team members to work in our company that's still with us today, and then so we're going to do another round as we're growing the business. So one of the things that I do is I decide to go to internationally to find and recruit, and then also put a face to the name, right? Shake hands with the team members that are going to be supporting our business and growing. And I do that to be competitive. Like if anyone can go ahead and apply on Zoom or submit an online application, but it's rare that the company leader will actually go ahead into your country, especially if you're a remote team member, and decide to go ahead and actually shake your hand and say, this is the vision of what we're creating. It creates that sense of loyalty, it creates that sense of connection and bond that I'm going to be creating. So that's number one. Number two is our company follows the EOS model, or the entrepreneurial operating system. And in the entrepreneur, and this is all stems from a book called Traction. Like the name of the book is Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business. And I'm in a mastermind where that was one of the trainings that we went through, was reading this book called Traction to identify what is the operating system that you want to have in your business. And I read that a couple years ago. We've implemented it in our business. We saw the growth in our business because of it, on how we host daily meetings, how we host weekly meetings, and so on and so forth. And the next meeting that we're going to be hosting is the quarterly meeting. And I'm going to be going in there to spend 2 days with our executive leadership team. We call this ELT, our executive leadership team, and put plans together for the next remaining quarters of the year. And so, two things: recruiting, and the number two, team meeting.
Okay, so there's a couple of things on the agenda for sure. What inspired you to do this type of travel? So you're going from the US to international trip for team bonding. Like you said, most business owners would be like, well, the time, the cost, and the investment, But what inspired you to do this type of training with the team?
Well, I mean, so the last time I did one was last year. That was the first time, and the team's response was, because we did it in person. Like we're always meeting on Zoom, but the fact that we did it in person, we got away from our computers, we got away from the day to day hustle or the day to day grind. It made a difference. And then what I saw was between 8 to 10% uptick in monthly recurring revenue, uh, month over month, like every single month, between additional 8 to 10% uptick in monthly recurring revenue. And what that made sense to do is like, hey, let's do it again. Let's get together and let's do it again. Rather than doing it online, let's do it in person. So it's worth the
Okay.
investment to go in person to the Philippines and meet with my executive leadership team.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of strategy, clarity on the goals, direction, what could, improvement, things like that. So I could see the value in that. Well, this actually ties into the topic for today. Being that we are already in August, pretty much August, halfway through, more than halfway through, actually. And now business owners are probably thinking, what's next for 2025? It's right
Yeah.
around the corner. I know for us and our business, we already start thinking of 2025. I mean, ahead of time early in the year, but specifically going into quarter four, it's set up for 2025. So I want to go over some of the business market trends that you anticipate will come in 2025 in regards to consumers. What do you think is going to be a shift like consumers, and how can business owners stay ahead of these shifts happening in the market?
Well, I think number one, consumers are going to want things even much more faster than they want it today. Like when we thought about microwavable food, for example, or 30 minutes or less, like getting pizza, for example, 30 minutes or less, things of that nature, that was a shocker. And I think today, not necessarily regarding food, but delivery of their products, delivery of their service, getting response for any inquiries that they have, they're going to want a response sooner than later.
So consumers are expecting like almost instant response, quick turnaround. I know Domino's has like the slogan that says like if you don't pick it up, if it's not ready in 30 minutes, you get it for free. So
Right,
all
right.
about time. So as a business owner, what are some of the things that they can do thinking keeping that in mind? How would this tie into a marketing shift or an operations shift to ensure that they're competitive in this type of market?
So one thing, for example, like I'll give you a brief scenario that just took place maybe 45 minutes ago or so. So because I'm going to the Philippines and we're operating with entrepreneurial operating system, my executive assistant came to me and asked me, "Hey, in EOS, because it's still new to us, we've essentially adopted it in the last 2 years. So there's a lot, and my coaches and mentors have adopted it 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and so on and so forth. These type of operating systems inside of their business. So my executive assistant came to me and said, "Hey, we are we're going to be going to the you're coming out to the Philippines, and to prepare, I see that everyone who runs a department, from sales, tech, admin, everyone who runs a department, they have deliverables to bring, such as challenges, issues, opportunities to grow, new products, opportunities for efficiency and to streamline the business." And she said, "Am I responsible for bringing any data and any presentation?" And I said, "You know what? When I read the book and we've implemented, there was not usually a area for the executive assistant to bring data, right?" And that's what I read. And so what I did is I went to ChatGPT instantly and I said, "ChatGPT, at the quarterly meeting for EOS, what should an executive assistant be presenting?" And ChatGPT gave me everything. ChatGPT put the whole everything that my executive assistant should be responsible for. And I'm like, yes, yes, I forgot the scorecard reviews. Yes, we got to do the rocks overview. Yes, we got to do the to-do list after we go through the issues. So I remember these from the book, but it took me a while. Now, if I were to Google that information, what Google is going to give me, it's going to look up keywords on a bunch of different articles, blogs, things of like to give me that data. So it's going to give me the closest article that could answer that question. And then when I click into that article, it's going to be an article telling me about, hey, download this ebook for free and so on and so forth. And I'm going into someone else's funnel. That's not what I wanted. What I want is a clear and concise answer. What is the role of an executive assistant when it comes to following this operating system for entrepreneurs? And ChatGPT gave it to me instantaneously. And what I've noticed is that your customer is going to want the same thing. They're going to want to answer to your question. For example, hey, what time do you open? Hey, are you available? Is someone available? Like, so if they text you, for example, is someone available at this specific time? Is someone available? They're going to want answers to that question. And rather than sending them to a web page with the hours, especially if they're driving, things of that nature, or if they're texting, they just want the clear, direct answer. You either have the option to give them that answer, or give them the resource. And if you give them the resource, they got to go figure it out, and it's going to take them some time. They're going to leave your web page. They're going to stop texting you, so on and so forth. So the person that can give information to speed is the person who's going to win in 2025.
Yes, I agree. And as you were sharing, like the AI, the ability to have instant answer, I think there will be a shift as well with a lot of business owners realizing there's only so much human speed that they can hire that will just still not compete with technology, right? I think that there is an awareness and coming, it's already happened, but there's a lot of technology being leveraged to increase speed, efficiency, things of that sort. So, with that being said, what are your thoughts on the possibility that a lot of employees that are doing repetitive tasks, just admin, data entry, things, that are essentially repetitive, could be getting replaced in 2025?
Yeah, if not already. I mean, those type of tasks are probably going to be replaced pretty quickly. I remember a few years ago when ChatGPT came out, and we were heavily, in our marketing agency, we had many clients, many employees. One of the roles was a chat copywriter, and we didn't need a copywriter anymore when artificial intelligence came out. So if you are currently in a role that you're nervous that ChatGPT or artificial intelligence in general, it could be ChatGPT and there's other LLMs called large language models. There's other models like ChatGPT that are created that are exist. I wouldn't say that they're going to come for your job, but the people who are responsible to make the decisions, they want speed. And if you can get create speed and value for them in the shortest period of time, you're going to have a job and you're going to continue to grow. And number two, if you are in a role that requires technology or that doesn't require technology, you may want to identify is there areas that you can use technology to make your job easier. I'll give you a scenario. I know in my company, me as a business owner, uh, one of the reasons why we let go of a copywriter in our company was the copywriter said, I feel like using artificial intelligence is cheating. So I'm not going to use artificial intelligence. They said that I feel like using artificial intelligence is cheating. And I shared a different perspective. And in the perspective that I shared with them, I said, if you're able to use artificial intelligence to make your job easier, you will be able to add more value in a shorter amount of time, therefore making the investment of having you in your role much more valuable, and you can create a bigger result and a bigger impact inside of our company and a bigger impact for our clients. And we specifically had one representative that they were just completely against using artificial intelligence, and unfortunately we promoted them back to the marketplace. We promoted them to the marketplace to go and get to work with another organization. And I share that with you because if you're someone who's saying I'm against using artificial intelligence, you will essentially get replaced at some point. That's when the replacement starts happening, when you're against using technology. Had I had a copywriter or an individual work inside my organization and say, hey, I think I could do a better job by using artificial intelligence, not only will they have a long-term job, but also they've identified areas of opportunity for growth and efficiency and speed that puts them ahead of the game. So if you're an employee, you want to start looking at how you can use artificial intelligence to make your job easier, because it's going to allow you to show your employer that, hey, I'm creating efficiency and I'm getting more done in less amount of time.
Yeah, I think it is important to, instead of just reading that it's changing, it's coming already, like AI, or like you said, the other models, it's not so much that they are going to 100% replace people, but I think the employees and people and leaders, managers that learn how to leverage that to increase output and decrease turnaround time, they're going to have a competitive advantage. Because it is a learning curve. Like I had to go through some learning curves of like, yeah, we don't need a copywriter right now that needs 7 to 10 days to write a description for this podcast, for example. I'm able to click a button and we still review it. We still do quality assurance. We still make a little changes, but we've been able to forex our content just because of the technology that we've discovered. So I
Yeah.
would definitely agree. It's not so much like, oh, they're just going to take over the jobs, technology, chat, AI, like all these things. It's more like, get ready to be asked, do you know how to use this? How have you used technology? How can we increase output? How can we decrease turnaround time? With the trends shifting in regards to consumers wanting things faster, almost instant questions, things of that sort, technology being a big element, how would this shift? How would this shift the marketing plans that business owners should be working client facing, whether it's through social media? Should they be changing their marketing? What if they've been doing the same marketing for the last 5 years? Like, and they're like, it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing something in the last 5 years, like at this point, it feels like every 6 months something's changing. Something's new, something's changing, and you want to be ahead or behind. And if you choose to be ahead, you're gonna always experience that wave of that push, that growth. Like think of a wave. Like you and I just came from Hawaii, and w- when we were surfing, in Hawaii, the objective was very simple: be ahead of the wave to get a push without you exhausting your energy. And if any one of you who's listening has ever gone surfing, it is a strain on your neck. It is a strain on your shoulders because you're laying down and you're paddling, paddling, paddling. You got to keep your head looking up and you got to keep paddling, paddling. And if you stop paddling, you start getting drift and you start going backwards into the ocean, right? So if you want to go towards the shore, for example, then you got to be able to paddle very fast. And it takes a lot of energy resources, things of that nature. So when you think of surfing, what you're doing is your objective is to get in front of the wave that's coming that you can see that's afar. And at this point, it may not be impacting you today, right? But if you can see it coming, if you can get in front of that wave, you can actually catch that wave and with ease be pushed forward with complete ease without you having to put any energy resources or just literally just stay on the wave. That's literally as simple as it is. And it's the same idea with the marketing trends. So I'm going to share with you what's coming and what you should expect. Number one is that your customer wants instant data. They want the information instantly. So, for example, let's say that I'm a hair salon, and as a hair salon owner, if your customer, instead of calling and saying, "Hey, is Jennifer available? Is Jennifer available this week?" and then talking to a receptionist, and the receptionist says, "One moment, please. Let me look at Jennifer's calendar." And then, okay, what time, what date are you thinking of to come in? And then the person on the phone says, "I'm thinking like Wednesday at 5 p.m." Okay, one moment. Let me see if Jennifer's available Wednesday at 5 p.m. Let me look at her calendar. 5 p.m. doesn't work on Wednesday. How does Thursday sound? And then the person's like, "You know what? Let me look at my calendar. I'll get back in touch with you." Okay. The front desk says, "Okay, contact me when you're ready. Thank you. Bye." Your customer wants this type of experience. They text you. Let's say your phone number is 1-800, 777-2255. Let's say that's your phone number. They text you, I want to book a consultation with Jennifer. When is she available next? An AI chatbot instantly responds and says, Jennifer's next availability is Thursday at 5 p.m. That time does not work. What other dates do you have? Jennifer has these 8 slots available. Choose the one that best suits you. Person chooses a slot via text message. And let's say the person forgets to respond. The AI chatbot automatically responds and follows up. Hello, are you available? Hello, are you there? Hello. Jennifer's calendar is actively getting booked. This slot is no longer available. Would you like to select the next slot, and so on and so forth? That happens automatically. So instead of this journey of like having to call, go back and forth, things of that nature, it can happen instantaneously via text message. That is the value of using artificial intelligence and marketing together.
Yes, I'm actually going through that right now. I have my assistant. I had found like a flyer. It's not this one. It's like a random marketing flyer. I forgot where I saw it, but I usually take a photo and I said to my assistant, like, go get them a quote. We're going to need this, this, and this, like 10 items plus. And on the flyer was an email, and it just so happened that the phone number was cut off. So I took a bad photo, but it was like phone number. Here's things you can get from us. It's like a print shop, and then an email. So the only thing that actually worked that my assistant could see was the email, and it has their office address. So now I don't have the phone number, but my assistant emailed them saying, hey, we're interested. Here's the things that we need. And you know how we communicate. We're like bullet point, how much is it by when? We'll make a purchasing decision that day even. She hasn't heard back, and it's been over a week. So then I said, okay, let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the email is not so active. Let's Google their address. Let's Google the email. Let's see what comes up. Sometimes we land with their Instagram page. Sometimes the rest of the, information comes up. No result. At this point, it's taking us more time, more money, more work to try to get an order in. So it's been discarded. It's just been like, hey, we just cannot find them. They're not on Instagram. We can't find their website. We can't find their Google. So I do believe that if a business is still using like email me, like that's not effective.
No.
Especially if nobody's actually getting back to the consumer, back and forth, like only between 9 and 5. Like I get it, business hours, but all I needed was a quote on 10 items. And if it fit our budget, we would have ordered a week ago. So would you say long are the days where people put just an email and a phone number, and like there's just really no automation or funnel for the consumer?
Yeah, 100%. It intrigues me that how some of the businesses, like, we go to their website and all it says is like contact us, and then it's like a generic form at the bottom of the web page or hidden behind a specific link like contact, and then it's like contact us. Like, that's the only way I can get in contact with you is through this form where I have to put in my name, email, and phone number, maybe those details, and then hopefully I get to hear from someone within a day or two, maybe 3 days, maybe a week. And in the meantime, while you're preparing to respond, that customer is already on their journey to identify someone else who can service them. So I think that it's a very challenging economy for small businesses that make a decision to stay behind the new technology. I'll give you a scenario. I was doing a coaching call with a group of our small business software entrepreneurs, and in the call, a member of the community mentioned, like, "Hey, how do I get in touch with one business?" Because they're selling software to businesses. And I said, they said, "How do I get in touch with one business?" And I said, "Just call." And they said, "Well, I can call, but like, who do I call?" And I just said, "Let's do it live." So I shared my screen and I just made a phone call. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Give me one moment. Excuse me.
Bless
And
you.
so, thank you. And so I went to Google and I just typed in small business. I didn't even do much of a big search. I just typed in small business in this zip code. We found a group of small businesses, and I called three of those. I called out of four businesses. I called all four. The first three, no one answered. I went to voicemail, and I'm like, man, I, I hear what's going on in America, what's going on with small businesses, that you're not even taking advantage of the new technology that's available, because you can have artificial intelligence pick up if you don't want a human pick up. Even if you have humans pick up and they fail to pick up, you can have technology respond via text message. If that happened, I would have stopped my search. So I called three, not one person answered or texted me back. So what did I do? I called a fourth one. In this scenario, I was calling golf courses, and I called the fourth one, and someone picked up, and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in your service. In your offer. What do you have to sell? So on and so forth." And we started the journey. We started the conversation, and in that scenario, that was the journey. I stopped once I got a response. It took me four contacts, calling four different locations to get a response. By the time I got my response on the fourth one, I stopped looking, and that's what your customer is doing. So if you run a hair salon, if you run an accounting firm, if you run a coaching business, whatever you run, your customer is going to stop searching as soon as you respond. If you cannot respond immediately because you can't, you can't hire your staff, so on and so forth, then you want to utilize technology to respond for you, to have that person stop the search and use artificial intelligence to gather data to prepare you to add value to that person. That's how you want to start using artificial intelligence today. If you don't have that type of system, then what's happening is that your customers searching, they find you, they call you, they get in contact with you, they might go to your webpage, they fill out a form. Those they take the necessary action steps, and then if they don't get an adequate response time, then in the meantime, while you're preparing to respond, it could be a day, it could be an hour, it could be 30 minutes, whatever that time frame is, they are already onto the next search. And that's when you call them, and then their response is, never mind, I'm all set, or never mind, thank you, I'm good. And the reason they're good is because they already found what they were looking for, and they had a company that had the right technology to adequately respond in the right timing.
Yeah, that's very important because, like you said, by the time if you're leaving a voicemail, you're like, they're not answering. Sometimes we won't leave a voicemail. And it took 4 attempts. By the time the other people get back to you, they may or may not get back to you. Maybe they're busy. You already found someone that did answer. So that's a lost opportunity there. Well, I know you embarked on the journey. That's what one of the reasons why you created Progretta. It's because Progretta actually has a technology that a small business owner can use. And my belief is that sometimes business owners may not know it's out there, or there's also too much information, right? You go into YouTube, there's thousands, millions of videos on you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. It can be overwhelming as a starting point. Do you have any type of workshops or trainings where a business owner can actually understand how Progretta will support them in their business, regardless of the industry, regardless if it's in brick and mortar or digital?
Yeah, if you go to progretta.com/workshop, once again, that's Progretta, PROGREDA, progretta.com/workshop, you'll have the opportunity to go to a training where our team will guide you on how to maximize Progretta to automatically respond to your customers and how you can generate the contact details of those customers, as well as learn more of what new technologies are available to support your customers and to support you in serving your customers. I think that's the biggest thing is you want to serve your customers, you want to help them, you want to guide them, you want to give them the right tools, the resources, so on and so forth. But it all starts with the initial contact. And if you don't have that initial contact, and if they come to you and they come knocking and you're not there to pick up, then you want to have some type of technology to automatically respond to have them stop that search and say, you are the one, you are available, and let's start the relationship here.
Yes, very important. So, step one, if a business owner is already thinking, I got to get ready for 2025, I just need to figure out that one thing I can do to start adding technology, resolve the initial contact experience for the consumer, or maybe it's the text back for missed calls. Like you can make one shift that will give you higher conversions and higher results, right? And income.
Yeah.
So step one, you're saying attend the workshop and then go from there. You're going to learn more. You're going to see examples. You're going to have a team actually showing you how it can support on your business. With that being said, I know with business owners have a lot of projects, they have a lot of tasks. What is one positive piece of advice you want to leave your business listeners to for this week?
So the first thing is I'll share with you the first tool to get installed in your business. It's something called the missed call text back. And if you decide to try Progretta, go to useprogretta.com/podcast. That's useprogretta.com/podcast. And when you decide to go to that webpage, you'll actually get a chance to try Progretta for free. You can actually utilize what we call missed call text back. And missed call text back, the way that it works is that when someone calls you and they text you, as soon as they as soon as they call you, our software will automatically respond with a text. So if you missed a call, so let's say your potential customer is calling your business, and unfortunately you have a client, you're with someone, something of that nature, you're not available to pick up the phone call. What's going to happen is as soon as that person calls you, the software is going to automatically text them back and say, hey, I'm not available right now, but how can I help? And that person can actually respond and say, hey, I was looking to book a call, or I was looking to get some information on X. And then the software can engage in an automated conversation with AI on your behalf.
Yeah, that by itself is a game changer. So, like I said, I wouldn't want business owners to feel, hey, it's a lot to do. I'm going to do so much in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Sometimes it just takes that one thing to start getting motivated, to start seeing the results, which I'm sure motivates a business owner. Well, thank you so much for your time, Andy. And I look forward to the next podcast. And of course, we'll be checking comments. Make sure to subscribe and engage with us so we can continue to provide value and answer your business questions. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, if this was valuable to you, comment what you took away from this training or this podcast, and then subscribe so that way you get alert for future podcast episodes.
Sounds great. See you on the next one.